Hey guys, welcome to Lilo's Art School. 1, 2, 3, 4. For today's class, I will be showing you guys how to, what are we showing them? I will be showing you guys one of the art techniques of splatter painting. So as you can see here on this piece, we've got a lot going on. There's a lot of splattering, there's a lot of like dotting, there's a lot of thrown paint. For today, we are just going to focus on one technique of splattering. Today, we're going to focus on using our hands and our fingers to create this splattering effect. So if you guys are ready to learn with me, pull out your canvas, pull out your paper, pull out your paints, whatever you need. Put on your smock, your oversized t-shirt, get some water, a wet cloth, because your hands are going to get messy. And head over to your art station. Class is about to start. Okay, class. So today for our materials, you are going to need, of course, your canvas. We will talk about the surface layer soon. You're going to need like a little dish or something where you can just put your paint in so you can dip your fingers into it. I'm using just these old, you might not even need multiple. I used one for the previous canvas that I showed you guys. But as many as you would think you will need for your project. What else? You're going to need your hand, of course, like this is today's paintbrush. You are also going to need your paint of choice. I'm using a variety of acrylic paints. You can use oil. I've definitely used oil to do this, but you're going to need oil thinner if you do use oil paint so that you can get that like splattering. Yeah, so whatever colors you want, whatever you want to do. I usually don't even start with like a color scheme. Sometimes I just do like whatever I want, however I'm feeling in the moment. I feel like that's the most fun to have with art, when you can just like do what you're feeling in the moment. So in front of us, you guys will have a blank canvas, but I have this pre-painted canvas. Today I'm just showing you guys a technique. You guys don't have to make a finished product, Usually if I am doing something with like splattering or like just like 3D touch or like effects on top of a canvas, I'm going to do an underpainting, which is what this is. I painted the surface and then we're going to apply paint on top of it. Your underpainting can be whatever you want it to be, depending on like what you're making. Like if you're doing like maybe a person, maybe you'll do an underpainting of like the outline of the person and then like all the shadows and the light areas, and then on top of that underpainting you'll start applying your colors and stuff like that, This, what I have is just a piece. This is actually an old piece that I was working on and I never finished it. It's just been sitting in the corner of my art room and I haven't touched it. But it's literally just acrylic paint that I've smothered across, and then I took some marker and colored in some empty white spaces, just to fill it in. But yes, you guys don't have to have an underpainting right now. Because we're just learning technique. If you guys want me to do a video on like making underpaintings, I will. So get your hands ready. I have my smock on. Well, it's a giant t-shirt, but yes. And then we have our surface ready. I was going to do this flat on the table. However, you can do it either way. They're flat on the table or what is this, vertical? Or vertically. It doesn't matter. Just know that if your paint is like really wet, it might drip and stuff like that. So if you don't want those like dripping effects, then I would do it flat on the table. But if you don't mind like the drippiness, the messiness, then you can do it this way. The first way we're going to start our splattering is by putting paint into our paint cup. That's what we're going to call it. We're going to start by putting paint into our paint cup, and then we're going to like dip our fingers in. So pick whatever color that you want. I think, oh, this is cute. I think I'm going to go with this pink acrylic paint. Now let's see how it comes out to see if it's like thick. And I can show you guys both thick and like loose paint. So this paint is kind of, well, it's not super thick. Like, you see how it can move? That's what you want. Like, kind of like a consistency like that where it's like it's able to move. You can like easily disperse it, you know. But it is kind of still like really thick. So what we're gonna do later is thin it out with some water, and I'll show you guys like the effects of thin paint. So for now, we're gonna use this thickness. And you're literally get messy with it. You're just gonna take your hands, take the tips of your fingers, and take a glob like this. I'm gonna put my thumb in it and like kind of hold it like this little pose that you used to do in high school. And you're just gonna take it, and you're gonna take your hands like this, and then fling it. Oh my gosh. Y'all, I forgot about my wall. It's white. I didn't cover it. Okay, make sure you have the proper coverings when you're doing this. But yes, you're just going to take it, and you're going to take your hands, and you're going to fling it. Like you're flicking it. Is that the word? Flicking it? But you're just going to fling it. And you just keep going until you feel like you don't have any more paint on your fingers. And you see how like... So you see how like there's small and then there's big. I feel like with your hands, and depending on how much paint you have in your hands, will determine like how small and how thick the lines of your splatters will be. Like this is really thick because there's less paint on my hands. Now if I were to take the same paint and take like a glob of it, I'm taking the rest and just like, I'm not even going to put it on my thumb. I'm going to keep the glob like this and just fling it. You see how it makes a bigger like splatter? So if you want a glob, like if you want thicker splatters, you're going to need more paint. And if you want thinner splatters, then you use less paint. So I'm just going to use the rest of my paint that we have and just splatter it across. All right. Now that our fingers, oh my gosh, I'm getting it in my hair. Y'all, I didn't realize I had paint on this hand, and I just pushed my hair back. I was supposed to tie my hair back and I didn't. So now I have paint in my hair. Okay. Anyways, once your hands are looking a bit crazy like this, you're ready for the next technique. You can keep splattering until like you feel like you don't have any more paint. Like I feel like there's no more paint coming off my fingers. So, oh, well, there's a little bit like coming out of my nails, but once you feel like your hand is like dry and there's nothing else coming off, then like you can either grab some more, like depending on what your surface is looking like and like how big and stuff like that, you can just keep doing it, or we can move on to the next. So the next way is, and this is actually like, it's the same similarity. Let me get the rest of this out. Actually, no, we'll leave it because we're going to thin the paint. So we're not going to do anything quite different, except we're going to apply the paint directly into our hands. Now, I feel like this is when you don't want as much control over your paint and like what it does, because this is just going to be like a big glob. So I'm just going to squeeze paint into my hand like that. And then now, remember, if you just leave it in a glob like this, it's gonna be huge on your canvas or your surface. If you put your thumb on some and take some a little bit, it'll like spread. So I'm just gonna take this that I have in the palm of my hand, and we're gonna flick it maybe in a separate area. Like if you wanna try to get it somewhere else, like I noticed that I did a lot in the middle. So let's go up here. This is looking pretty bare. Oh, okay. And I dropped some. Don't be afraid to hit the canvas either. Like, it's okay. Because, like, if you get close, you can kind of aim it better, I feel like. I feel like when you're far away, then it'll just spread everywhere. So it depends on how you want it to look. But the technique doesn't change. You're just flicking it off your fingers. Now, I haven't actually tried this, but let's do it together. We're going to learn together. I have so much paint on my hands. So I'm going to scoop it up with my other finger, right? And we're going to put it on the back of our fingers, right? And then we're going to flick it that way. Ooh, did you see that? You see that right there? And it kind of did like a folding thing. I love that. We're just gonna keep splattering until... This is the perfect time to go in with other colors as well. Like, you don't want to just do one color. So let's actually switch it up. Let's grab another color before I show you guys the thinned look. I'm gonna grab purple. I feel like I'm running out of purple, but I'm gonna grab purple and I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna put it directly into my palm. And then we're gonna splatter it. Now you want it to get, you don't want to squirt it. You see how I squirted it here and it's like making it difficult to splatter it? You want your paint to be on your fingertips. You don't want them to be closer to your palm because then you're gonna have to scoop it up. You want it to be on like the tips of your fingers, like the first ridge of your fingers. And we're just gonna play around with it. Mix your paints. Make sure you get it everywhere. I mean, unless you don't want it everywhere. You don't have to put it everywhere. This is your piece. You can do what you want. If you want all your splatters to be centered towards the middle, just remember, because it's a splatter, it is going to get everywhere. Unless you have something like covering the areas you don't want paint to get splattered on, it's gonna splatter. Because it's messy. Like, it's just gonna get everywhere. That's the whole point. My paint is drying up so fast. I guess I didn't put that much purple in my hand. But look, you just, you know, sometimes art looks like this. Now, once you're done throwing paint onto your canvas, you'll have something that looks like this. There's splatters all over. We've got globs. We've got little thin splatters. We've got little dots, you know. Just have fun with it. Do what you want. Splatter it everywhere. It's really fun with a bigger canvas because you can just like go crazy. Remember to cover your walls. I'm gonna have to do some scrubbing because my walls are covered in paint. But yeah, now my hands looks like this. I'm gonna try to scrape some of this up. I try not to waste paint when I can. I'm actually just gonna, we're gonna do a little bit of finger painting, and that's okay. If you add different methods to your madness, even though this is a splattering video, we can go in with some different techniques. It's our canvas. We can do what we want. There's no rules to art. So, however you feel in the moment, that's what you do. At least that's how I do it. I feel like that's the best way to get something created in art, is putting your emotion into it and doing what you feel. Sometimes having a plan and like wanting to express something with a thought in your head, sometimes it's harder to do than you think. And sometimes you just have to, sometimes this is just a warm-up. You don't have to be making a masterpiece this way. Sometimes you just need to get some, you need to get some mess out before you go into something more fine-tuned, you know? Okay, so now I'm gonna show you guys how to do thin paint. Now pause if you don't have any water near you and go get some water. But what I've done is I've taken the previous paint cup that we were using for our pink, and I put a little bit of water in it. It covers the whole bottom layer. You don't want to do too much because you don't want it to be super watery. You just want enough to where your paint is thin. So I'm going to, let's take a thicker color. I'm going to use, what colors do we have on here? It would be crazy to throw some green up there. We're gonna throw some green up there. I've got some heavy body paint, which is really thick, and someone might say that I'm wasting good paint, but there's no such thing. So we're gonna squeeze our heavy body green. You see how thick it's coming out? It's like a piece of dookie, I'm not gonna lie. And we're gonna just put it in our water. All right, come out. Now see that? Look how thick that is. And then I'm going to take, if you have a paintbrush or like a stick or anything, like literally just find what you can. And I'm gonna mix the paint in the water. Okay, it's not doing well mixing. I'm not gonna lie, guys. Just mix until it's smooth. Trial and error, it's okay. Don't beat yourself up when something doesn't work. Just try something else. Let's see, I have some leftover of this like creamy color. Let's put that into there. Oh, okay. And we're just gonna mix it in. Okay, now it's getting thicker. Okay, so it's kind of like this like moppy, yucky, gucky consistency. The color is also like that. But the texture It's like gucky. So you can either get it to be like completely a liquid. You can also do it that way. Or you can get it to just be like a little bit thick but very loose. Not a little bit thick. You can get it to be like a little thick but still loose. Like you see how it's still kind of like a liquid. I mean, paint is a liquid, but it's like thick. But now we've like thinned it out with some water. If you're using oil paint, you would thin it out with some, oh shoot, what is it called? I have some. Oh, oil thinner. Now that our paint is mixed up, it's very loose. We're gonna go the same way. I'm gonna use my other hand this time because my dominant hand is my right hand, but I've been using my left. We're gonna take our finger, take a little bit into our fingertips, and we're gonna just flick it. And you see how it's like more loose, like it's kind of drippy a little bit. Here, let's see. Let's take a glob. You see how it's like dripping down? When it's a bit more loose, it'll start having that drip effect. When it's really loose, it'll start like fully dripping down. Like, let's see if we can get one with like a big glob. Let's see if that'll drip. And you do the same thing. You just keep splashing it. You can direct it to where you want. I feel like I like having this green color, whatever this color is, over here. So I think I'm gonna stick with that. I kind of look and just keep. And honestly, sometimes you can kind of like throw it on there. Like if you kind of like, we're learning together, guys. You kind of take some and then you just throw it like that. That can kind of create a splatter. It'll become like a more thick splatter. This looks like the puke that they show in like cartoons. That's what it looks like. But you see how it's like, you guys see that dripping effect? Like especially right here, this is dripping really well. This is dripping. When it's really loose, it'll start to drip and you'll get that effect of the dripping, which can be really fun if like that's your intention. I love a good drip. I feel like a lot of people, especially in the abstract field, they enjoy a drip. It's kind of fun. It's like, it's kind of funky, but it's like, okay, hold on. There's something that's catching my attention. Why is everything else like so secure and stiff? And then this one little drip is like, ah, look at me, you know? It kind of like pulls your attention. Like, obviously there's a lot going on here, but once you bring your head to this side, you can see like this, like it's like, oh, okay, this is like splatter everywhere, but this is like a different kind of splatter. This is like, it low-key looks thick, even though it's thinner than the other paint, but it looks like globs and it's got movement. It's more of like a, what is the word? It's more of a, like, I don't know if it's confined is the word that I'm looking for, but it's more of like a, I'll say confined for now. It's more of like a confined movement. Like it's stiff. It's going in one direction. It's going in one direction rather than like the rest of the paint that we did earlier, where it's like it's splattered all over and like it's going up and down and everywhere. Rather, this is just going one way, or it's just hitting in here. I think honestly my paint was really thick, thicker than I intended it to be. Let's put some over here. I know I said I was going to leave it over here, but once you've got all your paint cleared out, you can either start throwing some more paint on with the techniques that you've learned, or you can be finished. But yeah, guys, this is what we've done today. We learned how to use thick and thin paint and splatter it with both of our hands, but with our fingers. We learned how to flick it. We learned how to throw it. We learned how to flick it from the back of our hands. That was new to me. And yeah, I hope you guys are able to use this technique for you guys' future projects. If you do, tag me on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, whatever you use, if you post it. Or put it on the community board if you guys are subscribed to me. That is all, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video and hopefully learned something that was fun. If you want to see more videos from me, subscribe to me, give this video a big thumbs up, Follow me on all my social medias. Check out my art portfolio. It's in the description down below. Share this video with your friends if you think that they would also enjoy learning how to create a splatter using your body. And yeah, I will see you guys in my next video. I hope everyone has an amazing day creating. Bye. I look like a Smurf. Okay, it wasn't a lot of paint, but indeed, I'm gonna have to scrub the walls again.